Good morning, everyone, and this is my Sts Talk. Climate change is one of our main problems in our planet in the past few decades. Our country has been the fifth most affected, with the recent work indicating that Mindanao, the southern group of islands in the Philippines, would have the worst possible year-long heat waves in 2050. The study was released in June 2017, when heat waves reached large regions in Western Europe and the United States. In Portugal and Spain, the devastating heat wave in Europe has triggered wildfires. At least 64 people in Portugal have died. Furthermore, excessive heat in the United States led the increase of usage of air conditioners and large-scale power failures and a large number of cancelled flights. News by news, the heat waves are having a huge effect globally led the Philippines to realize that the future predicted in the study might happen. One can assume that heat waves will have a major impact in the Philippines. Given the considerable dry spell harm that the Philippines would have been in 2007, during the time of drought, hydraulic power and output decreased, water irrigation systems failed and agricultural production declined, and also diseases spread to the humans and animals, for example, the viral conjunctivitis and the hog cholera. The apparent mechanism underlying the increased occurrence of heat waves in recent years is global warming. 73.9% of the world's population is expected to experience deadly heat and humidity at least 20 days a year in 2100s. Even when emission of greenhouse gases is severely reduced in the immediate future, each national authority is needed in these contexts to prepare and enforce a multidimensional and countermeasure in response to this imminent problem. In the Philippines, for instance, the Health Department recently published a consultative statement on heat stroke prevention and management. Although we agree that such health advice is necessary, these steps alone will not be enough to give the Philippines a better future. Instead, the country's key action is to set a long-term target to alleviate the problem of global warming first. We all know the Paris Agreement. The Paris Agreement is on climate change was conducted on 28th of February 2017 by President Rodrigo Duterte and his cabinet members. This move was welcome from its first announcement that he would not sign the protocol and that developed countries such as the United States and those of Europe should take greater responsibility in implementing a sustainable development plan than developing countries. Since Philippines is now expected to achieve a national defined contribution by 70% to the reduction of greenhouse gas emission by 2030. Compared to the estimated 290 million tons of carbon emitted regularly, the country showed that international cooperation and self-sacrifice were significant. The US, which has surprisingly withdrawn from the agreement to safeguard its currency, thus condemned these behaviors. This climate change may affect another risk in every country, especially if we're going to focus in heat waves. This is me before admiring those farmers who are contributing and aiding our planet by the climate change. How do we end this? Or how to lessen these effects? We can't be the farmers, but we have to discipline ourselves in using those national resources or environmental resources in our world